Community connections, CKMS, local sounds, thoughts, passions, and success. Celebrate local, your neighbor's got a story to tell. Community connections, CKMS.
Happy Monday, Waterloo Region. You're listening to CKMS Community Connections for Monday, the 21st of April, 2025. Today we're going to be talking to Breanna MacLeod from ActOUT KW, all about children's theatres and theatre camps and live theatre on the radio. My co-host today is Suzanne Craig-Whytock. Going to listen to some music first. This is Call Muse by Audio Boffins. Audio Boffins local band. That's called Call Muse from their number 4 album, IV in Roman numerals. In the studio with me is Breanna MacLeod. Welcome to CKMS Community Connections.
Hi, thank you for having me on.
Very welcome. You're with ActOUT KW. Tell me what that is.
Our full name is technically ActOUT Kitchener-Waterloo Children's Drama Workshop, but we tend to just go by ActOUT.
Okay.
We've actually been in the community, it's a little long. We've actually been in the community 30 years now, and we promote theater to kids and teens in the Waterloo region. Mm-hmm. We're doing theater by kids for kids and giving them experiences with live theater that are harder and harder to come by sort of in a modern age. Yeah. And we do that through classes, we have camps, and we do stage full productions with kids as actors and participants as well.
So you've got a whole theater set up, like an auditorium and...
Well, we partner with a lot of other community theater organizations. So we will do rehearsals with the kids, and then we will stage our productions at places like KW Little Theater, okay. Which is a great Waterloo nonprofit theater, or the Registry Theater, which is run by JM Drama in Kitchener, mm-hmm. and also Cambridge Arts Theater in Cambridge with the Cambridge Community Players. And we also have a play coming up we're going to be doing in Waterloo Park. Through our affiliation with the City of Waterloo, so outdoor theater as well.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah. And you're going to be doing some radio theater.
Yes, this will be our first year doing a live radio audio drama. We've partnered with you guys who have been very supportive and helped us learn a lot with the process, and we'll actually be performing this Friday. And it's something new for our kids. Over COVID, we did a little bit of audio work. We had some of our kids doing an old Orson Welles script that was a Sherlock Holmes script, and
Okay.
they did that and they recorded it remotely. But in this instance, it will be more of a focus on sort of the old school live audio drama, where you're actually in the sound theater performing and doing like sound effects and things like that.
And it's all taking place right here on CKMS FM.
Absolutely,
in
yes.
our very own studio.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited too.
Yeah.
Can you give us a hint? This is a murder mystery.
Oh, the script that they're doing is actually based on an Oscar Wilde story. It's
okay.
called The Canterbury Ghost.
Okay.
So it's a little bit, one of the participants described it as a little bit Scooby-Doo. It's a comedy, sort of slightly spooky mystery. And our participants are between, believe 12 and 15 that are doing it. And they're
Okay.
having a lot of fun with it. They've added in some of their own material as well. And so it'll make for an interesting performance. There's some creative aspects as well.
Excellent. And is that part of the things that you do, is having the kids write their own scripts or modify scripts?
Oh, it really depends on the program, actually. Some of our productions are very much scripted. We just recently did a 30-minute version of Frozen Kids at
Okay.
KW Little Theatre with our younger participants, ages 5 to 10. And again, rights-wise, it's very set. It's a Disney sort of adaptation.
Right.
Whereas if we do something like this, or in some of our classes and some of our summer camps, the kids do put together their own material that they will perform, a short performance or whatnot, at
Okay.
the end of their session. And so they are contributing to some of the ideas or the writing or the concepts of what they're presenting.
Okay. So there's a number of different programs that
absolutely.
you do. So there's the script writing, the performance, the radio theater now.
Yes, and again, a lot of it has to do with, we want the kids to work together as an ensemble, and there's a performance aspect. We're very focused, though, on the collaborative, sort of safer educational aspect of doing theater, of providing a welcoming and safe space for kids to experience that kind of creative exposure for the first time, because
Right.
it can be a little bit scary on stage.
Yeah.
We don't audition. We don't.
Okay.
Our programs are all, if you come into the program, then we will make you part of this production, this program, in any way we can. And we try to be as flexible as possible with that.
Okay.
We get kids and teens from a lot of different backgrounds, and some of our teens are struggling with various other things. And it gives them an opportunity creatively to do something that maybe they wouldn't have had the chance to do somewhere else, and in a place where they're not going to be judged, they're going to be
Right.
supported.
Which is very different from what school for 12 to 15-year-olds could be like.
Yeah, and we do get participants who come in and they're like, this is so relaxing and
Yeah.
rejuvenating. And a number of parents have said things along those lines. My kid is really struggling in this, but when they come here, it's like they light up.
Right.
And that's really our goal.
Yeah.
And I think it helps too when we have these performances. A lot of the people who come and see them are kids and teens themselves. And
Right.
it's a good lower cost way for them to try going to live theater. Some young kids, live theater can be very overwhelming. It's loud, there's sound effects,
Yeah.
there's things going on, or it can be very long. And our productions are generally shorter. It's rare we
Okay.
go over 90 minutes. Usually it's much shorter than that.
Okay.
So it's a good way to introduce it to an audience in the community as well.
I was thinking that some of the scripts written by the kids themselves during the sessions wouldn't even make it to an hour long. I figured 20
no.
minutes for a script is a lot of writing.
Yes, usually the ones where the kids are participating in helping write scripts, usually at the end of those sessions, like a camp, like our younger kids camp or one of our classes, they're lucky to get about 10 minutes because it is a lot, right? But they're also learning things like, blocking, moving around on the stage, working together, learning lines, or trying out costumes or props. And
Okay.
there's a lot of fun in there too.
Yeah. Is it all just the creative expression there, or I guess everything's creative expression? But I'm thinking, would you have kids coming in that just want to do the lights, that just want to do the sound effects?
Oh, we have had in the past some programs where we look at things like stage management or light or sound. It's a little trickier because it's a different skill for the kids to learn. It depends on the skill set of the staff that we have. The way ActOUT works is a lot of, because we're a nonprofit and a charity, a lot of the background work on our productions and whatnot are done by volunteers. And we've absolutely had many volunteers from generally high school kids who come in and they do things like assistant direct or assistant stage manage, or they come in to learn some of those supportive skills. And that's an opportunity for them to work with our staff and to learn through our rehearsal process, and then also when we're in theaters. And some of our kids have come up through various programs, participated in the programs, decided to volunteer, and are now actually staff members that we've hired. So the director for our Frozen Kids this year, for example, has been with ActOUT for years and years, started as a performer, moved along, is planning to go to university for, along the same theme, and directed the production with the kids. And it was great. They had a lot of fun, and they had an awesome perspective on it because they had been there.
Right. So this is the first step into a career, a profession in theater arts.
Yeah, like a number of our kids will go on to do more theater, and some of them particularly apply to things like the ECI program, arts program, or may go on further or audition for other. We've had kids go and audition for Stratford or at Drayton or things like that. But that's not the majority of our kids. The majority of our kids are here to experience theater, to enjoy it. Maybe they'll go on and they'll do community theater, or they'll just develop a love of going and enjoying theater or supporting the arts. We want to support all those kids. Our goal isn't to train kids to become professionals. Our goal is to give kids the experience they need to create a greater enjoyment and be able to express their own creativity.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's through participating, through actually the acting.
Yeah, in all our programs. And we try and switch it up too. We have a number of musicals which are extremely popular that we do.
Okay.
But we also do plays. We've done some stage combat. We've done stuff that's with some support from people from KW Stage Combat and whatnot, who are amazing with the kids. We've done, sometimes it's a bit of drama, sometimes it's more comedy. Often kids are more interested in the comedy until maybe they're a little older. And we try and offer a few different things. And we're always looking for new opportunities that we think the kids would be interested in. So it's very different. Right now, we've got 3 programs that are on the go. Our radio program, which is coming to completion this Friday. We have a number of kids rehearsing a version, High School Musical Junior, which is a 60-minute musical. It's extremely high energy. There's a lot of dancing and singing and whatnot, so it's quite an intense period for these kids. They'll be performing May 21st to 24th, I believe, in Cambridge. Okay. And then we have our Alice at Wonderland group, which is a smaller group of kids that are doing it's a comedic, slightly different take on Alice in Wonderland that will be performed in Waterloo Park at the Band Shell on the west side of the park. And that's the very last week of May, so the 28th to the 31st, I believe. Okay. And it's outdoor theater, so that's very different kind of way of presenting. Yeah. So we're looking forward to all of those. It's going to be a very busy month.
Sounds that way. And then at the end of the month, you get the summer off.
No, no. The period of June, we don't have too much going on in June. Mostly it's a planning period because we run 2 different locations for summer camp over the summer. We run at our rehearsal location, which is at on Frederick near Victoria at a building called Scout House, run by Scouts Canada, where we rent space. Okay. And that group will be our 5 to 10-year-olds. They're the ones that through their week of drama camp, they'll have fun, they'll go outside, they'll do some drama games, but they will be inputting and helping create their own small performance at the end of the week.
Okay.
So it's very much a unique process every time.
This is 5 to 10-year-olds.
5 to 10-year-olds, absolutely. Our Frozen kids were 5 to 10 as well. They do. You would be surprised at like what they can accomplish when they put their minds to it. The kids are very motivated and they have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Whether or not you have a kid that wants to be like center stage and like the role, or a kid that just wants to pop on and be a little bird in the background and my mom saw me, and that's what makes them happy, right?
Right.
It's an intro, right? And our other camp is at KWLT, and we rent the KWLT space, and each week we do a different one-act play. And they come in on the Monday, they get to know each other, they get cast, they spend the week learning the play. It's usually about 20 to 35 minutes, and they perform it on Friday afternoon.
So is that about the youngest age group that you have, the 5 to 10s?
That's the 5 to 10s. The ones at KWLT are, for the camp, are 8 to 14.
Mm-hmm.
Our programs, our youngest, performance program, on stage at KWLT when we did the mini musical is 5 to 10. And then our oldest students are 17. Our mandate is 5 to 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it, do kids go from the 5-year-olds straight through all the way through to the 17?
Yeah, like we have some kids that will just come for one program, and then we have some kids that come for one program and get hooked, and they're back every single year. It definitely had an effect through COVID. There were a lot of kids, unfortunately, who, 2 or 3 years we couldn't really get together or do performance.
So how did you manage that?
And it was very difficult because as a nonprofit, all the money we take in goes right back into our programs.
Mm-hmm.
There's no money making involved. So we really rely, one, on fees to participate in the program, which we really try to keep as low as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And we do offer financial assistance. So we have a whole financial assistance program. I encourage anyone who needs it to apply. And ticket sales to our productions, our full productions, we do sell tickets. So coming up on COVID, obviously ticket sales are gone.
Right.
And even bringing kids together, like to bring them together in a space where they're singing and dancing and doing blocking over COVID really wasn't realistic. We unfortunately had one mini kids show that was about to go on stage in about a week and a half when the shutdown happened. So that was really difficult for them.
Oh, yeah.
And we tried to manage things. We did some programs, a couple of virtual productions that we did that were designed specifically for that over COVID. But our first production coming back, we rehearsed virtually, and then we did 2 short shows at Waterloo Park. So they rehearsed virtually, and then they performed outside, and that was as everything was slowly coming back online.
Yeah. That seems like a good way to go.
Yeah.
The logistics of doing rehearsals for theater through a computer screen or a Zoom app or something sounds incredibly difficult.
Yeah, it was very tricky. One of my children participated in some of those programs. They were specifically run by our former artistic director, Todd Verco, who worked with us through COVID and got us through a lot of it. And some of the productions were created specifically by other arts groups that knew that something needed to fill the gap. And Beat by Beat Press is a smaller organization that does musicals and plays for kids, and they specifically developed some virtual offerings that we took advantage of.
Okay.
We did the Orson Welles sort of audio drama with the older kids that they recorded themselves and then was all edited together and whatnot and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're going to take a little break, play some music, and then come back and talk about more logistics and happenings and more theater arts stuff.
Yeah.
What have we got here? This is the White House from Cambridge.
Nails with a high heels on. with the tight jeans, boots to the knees. This girl's out here looking to impress. She works the room like a movie star. She's got some sweet perfume. She walks up slowly towards the bar. She knows exactly what to do. Watch the way she moves with the two-step, looking so fresh to death. With the tight jeans, boots to the knees. This girl's out here looking to impress. She gon' do what she wanna do. She's gonna tear that sky in two and peek on through. She lays on her bed of nails with her high heels on, walking on wild lines until that very last call. Just to get by. Just to get by. She works the room like a movie star. She's got some sweet perfume. She's got some sweet perfume. She walks up slowly towards the bar. She knows exactly what to do. Watch what she do. Watch the way she moves with the two-step, looking so fresh to death. With the tight jeans, boots to the knees. This girl's out here looking to impress. She gon' do what she wanna do. She's gonna tear that sky in two and peek on through. She lays on her bed of nails with her high heels on, walking on wild lines until that very last call. Just to get by. Just to get by. Oh, watch what she do. Watch the way she moves with the two-step, looking so fresh to death. With the tight jeans, boots to the knees. This girl's out here looking to impress. She gon' do what she wanna do. She's gonna tear that sky in two and peek on through. She lays on her bed of nails with her high heels on, walking on wild lines until that very last call. Just to get by. Watch the way she moves with the two-step, looking so fresh to death. With the tight jeans, boots to the knees. This girl's out here looking to impress. Watch what she do. Oh, watch what she do. Oh, watch what she do.
1, 2, 3.
That was the White House She Gone Do, which is an ungrammatical way of expressing yourself, I suppose. White House from Cambridge. Hope to have them in the studio real soon. Listening to CKMS Community Connections, my name is Bob Jonkman. Co-host today is Suzanne Craig-Whytock,
Hi
who
there.
is the host for Reader's Delight.
That's right.
Coming
Reader's
up
Delight.
on Sunday, the
Yeah.
26th of April.
The 27th.
27th?
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
The 27th.
And Breanna MacLeod, who is the Executive Director of ActOUT?
General manager,
General
actually.
Manager.
Yep.
Okay. Being a person who deals with authors, Suzanne, do you know any scriptwriters?
Not specifically. I do have some writer friends who will do script writing on the side. I think we were chatting earlier about the possibility of engaging local authors or other authors in this whole process of creating scripts for your students. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, well, every year we sort of go through a process with our season of looking at available scripts for our programs. So our musicals are kind of limited by the fact that we don't have an orchestra. So anything we do with our musicals, we're looking for shortened versions and things with backing tracks, which kind of limits our choices. But when we do plays, one-act plays, slightly longer plays, whether they're indoors or outdoors or for our summer camp, we're always looking for different opportunities to give kids chances for new materials or things that are different. One thing we're trying to look at more is different sources of plays. For example, looking at, there's Canadian Playwright Outlet, can't remember the name exactly, that is a source for a lot of Canadian scripts. And I'd love to connect with more Canadian and local playwrights for material that is appropriate for our age groups.
Which again
and
is
sort of-
5 to 17, right?
Yeah, and usually with our plays, either for summer camp, which we do one acts that are, again, the 8 to 14-year-olds, or we do plays that are generally with 11 to 17-year-olds. And we're looking for things that aren't too long, We're usually looking for half an hour, maybe up to an hour of appropriate and engaging material,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So we're always looking for different things. We've done mysteries, we've done dramas, we do a lot of comedy. Always happy to do farce and whatnot because the kids, like the physical aspects of it as well. And from time to time, as I mentioned before, we do plays that involve like stage combat or whatnot, where we seek out outside expertise to come in and help our kids with that. Yeah.
That's great. Do you find, is it difficult, because you said you do a lot of adapted pieces, is it difficult sometimes to get permission? Would it make it easier than if you had local writers who are creating plays specifically for your group, as opposed to having to seek permission from a Disney or a Broadway?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it does help when it's, when we can engage directly with the playwright. Sometimes, too, if we are doing material. For example, the shirt I'm wearing today is Marion,
Yes,
or The
I
True
love
Tale
that,
of
yeah.
Robin Hood.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is the play we did in the park last year. And it involved stage fighting. It was kind of a gender-bent version of Robin Hood. The kids had a blast doing it. There were a couple things in the script that was made for younger performers, for more of a high school level, that the director wasn't entirely clear on. And he just reached out to the playwright and was able to talk to them and say, hey, how do you
wonderful.
feel? Do you mind if we change this? And he was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. And being able to engage with writers like that, and to have our kids, realize like art can be a collaborative process, or that is valuable.
Right, and you could even have the playwright come and see the performance and give feedback.
Yeah, if we had
it's
local
wonderful,
people,
yeah.
it would be great.
Yeah.
And the idea too, that I think it would be a really interesting idea that we've never done before, is to be able to engage a playwright, to have kids see the process of working on a script, like,
Right.
doing read-throughs or things like that, and seeing a script being developed, and then maybe eventually participating in a production of it or whatnot.
That would be so fun.
So things like that, I think, are valuable to the educational process, and then also offer kids, like, if this is something you want to do, here are people in your community that can help you, or that have done the same thing, or it is possible. This is how you can start.
Exactly, model that for the kids, that it's, and you can become a playwright.
Yeah, and arts programs aren't always accessible. Sometimes it's very expensive. Sometimes it's offered in school. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a matter of time or access to be able to engage in those programs. Or sometimes kids just don't know what's out there. So I think it's important, again, to engage with the community as much as possible.
Exactly, so if a local writer was interested in working with you to create a script, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, the first thing to do would be to email, like myself, and anybody can get in contact with us at info@actoutkw.com. We also have a website. We're on various social media if you look us up, and we're always happy to talk about different opportunities and see what's out there. The arts community has always been very supportive in this region, I think, of each other. I think we need to be. And getting in contact can be really simple. For example, this program on the radio, we've been going to the community picnic in Waterloo for a few years now. We talk with people. We often offer free face painting. We'll do like little Canada leaves and things like that at the community picnic. And down a few tables from us last year was Radio Waterloo. And it was Jeff who came over. He said, have you ever thought about doing a radio play? We were like, actually.
That's amazing.
And it was through talking with him and finding out a little bit more about Radio Waterloo. Took us a little while to sort of get it together, because that was back last July. And here we are, we're performing on Friday.
Wonderful.
So it's as simple as making those kind of connections and seeing, will it work? Can we make it work? Or can we get our kids interested? Do we have the funding to make it work? Like any nonprofit, right? And then hopefully we get there and we can try something new.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Have you made other contacts like that in the community that have helped you do the performances, helped you provide venues?
Well, we've have a lot of contacts through different theaters that we engage with. And a lot of the people who are there are volunteers as well in community theater, and they've supported us through helping us or training or things like that. A good example would be Nadia at KWLT has been a great support in helping us technically,
Okay.
get all our ducks in a row for doing our productions there. We've also have a supportive relationship with Drayton Entertainment. They're the bigger theater group in the area. They do a lot, and they've supported us in the past when we've needed some set pieces, say like at risers or things like that we can't necessarily store or afford, and they've loaned us or whatnot,
Right.
which has been very
that's great,
helpful.
yeah.
And they have programs as well, and they do high school program that some of our older kids have auditioned for and participated on in the past too. So I think it's important for us all to sort of lift each other up
Yeah.
instead of compete. Does that make
Exactly.
sense?
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of programs out there, and I think that's great. I think the arts are very important for anyone, but especially for kids to sort of see them, the opportunities to express yourself and whatnot.
In a safe space.
In a safe space. We get a lot of kids who don't feel safe for various other reasons. We have a number of kids that have participated in our programs who are neurodivergent or who are suffering from things like anxiety. We get kids who are experimenting with gender or who are part of the LGBTQ plus
Right.
community. And we try and create a big tent where we can welcome and support all those people in participating in the ways they choose to, or in the ways that is safe or comfortable for them.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's always, the safe space is so important because the theater crowd, when I was in high school at any rate, the theater crowd was always outside the mainstream and, pointed at and jeered at. And there was a very strong community just within the people who did the stage crew stuff, did the band, and did the musical plays during
Always
the
so
year.
welcoming of everybody, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really an important part of it. It's always like it's very uplifting to listen to rehearsals with the kids, because you'll hear somebody and they're working on a scene they're doing or a solo they're doing, and as soon as they're done, like the rest of the kids that are sitting around watching are like, yes, that was great, and the enthusiasm is really infectious. And it's nice to see kids who have been in programs before welcoming and bringing in kids that are there for the first time and being like, this is great, I'm so, this is awesome, let me show you this thing. Or if they discover a new musical or something else they like, suddenly they're all playing it to each other, listen to this, sing about, and it's a really great vibe and environment.
Such a supportive, very, very supportive.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Take me through setting up a production. What is the first thing you do when you want to do something new?
Do something new. Well, the first thing really, from the perspective of being sort of a nonprofit charity, the first thing we have to do is find material for a program, like a script, that we think, one, will suit our program. So the material, the length, also how many parts there are. We can't do scripts that are intimate, like 5-person scripts. We need to do ones that are bigger casts so that we can afford to run the program, basically.
Yeah.
And then it also that kind of group gives more of an ensemble aspect. Particularly for things like our musicals can have a cast of like 35 kids. Wow. So generally what these kids do, and they're fantastic at it, is they learn 2 versions of the play, 2 versions of the musical. We double cast. So we have 2 different casts, and each actor will have, in one version of the play, they will have a role where they have more of a spotlight. And then in the second version, they might just be a background character in the ensemble.
In the chorus.
And
We are
that
the
way-
sisters and the cousins and the aunts.
Yeah, and that way we share roles around, and kids have an opportunity. We don't want to do star vehicles. We want to have kids having opportunities to try different roles, being, more in the spotlight versus being in the background. And some kids have different preferences. And allowing the kids to get the most out of it they can. So in those instances, some of our requirements are a little different. With plays, we don't always double cast. Sometimes the cast is smaller. Usually we aim for at least 10. And we want material that will engage the kids. And then we're also seeking out staff, a creative team that will
Okay.
come on and is interested in doing the material. So typically with a play, we at least have a director and a stage manager. Often with the musicals, we'll have a music director and a choreographer as well.
Okay. Are these paid positions or volunteer?
They are paid positions.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And a lot of them are. We get creative people in the community. We get people who are doing programs at universities and whatnot, doing the roles. There's a great music program at Laurier that has supplied us with several different, music directors or directors, people coming through those programs. That it gives them an opportunity as well. They're working and making money, which is important, but also working on a production, going through the process. It gives them another something else to put on their resume as well. Because our programs are part-time, it's easier for them to do while they're at school, or if somebody has a full-time job, and whatnot. And so we do hire staff, and then we have a rehearsal process. Depending on how long or how complex the material is will affect the process. For example, something like we do a junior musical every December. It usually starts rehearsing at the end of September and then performs the week right before or just a little bit before Christmas.
Okay.
And they rehearse usually about 6 hours a week.
How do the rehearsals work?
Yeah.
Do you do table reads with the actors?
Yeah, well, it kind of depends. With the plays, yeah, absolutely. They'll start off with just reading the play. They also do various activities for the cast to get to know each other. It's important for the kids to sort of gel and to become familiar with each other and trust each other in doing the material, like any other theatrical production. There's always a risk putting yourself out there on
Oh, yeah.
stage. And they read through, they get cast, and they have some input into that. We often ask our young actors, what would you hate doing? What would you like doing? What really aren't you comfortable with? Sometimes we have actors that are like, well, I'm fine with being cast, across genders. And then other ones are like, no, I can't do that. And so we try and accommodate
Okay.
those needs too, because we try to be as flexible as we can about that sort of thing. And then the rehearsal period, there's obviously the kids need to learn lines, but I mean, depending on the production, they could be doing blocking, they could be doing, again, learning things like physical aspects of theater, movement, doing run-throughs or focusing. They might have an evening where they just work on one scene and maybe there's set transitions involved and they have to learn, I have to stay in character and I have to perform this scene, but I also have to be moving this block from downstage to upstage and make sure it's there before this character enters or they're going to run into it. So things like
Okay.
that. So there's a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah. What sort of time commitment do the kids have to put in?
It really depends on the production. So some are more time intensive. Like I said, the musicals are 6 hours a week. Some of the plays are only 2 or 3 hours a week. And
Okay.
it depends on how many rehearsal hours they need, the length of the play, the complexity of what they're doing. The thing with musicals is that not only are you learning a play, you're learning the music and you may be learning dancing, depending on what the option
Right.
is. We did Newsies. Newsies was a
wow.
lot of
Yeah.
movement. And then, song and choreography and all that. Whereas a play, it's a little different. There's blocking and there's learning the script and learning your lines. And then there tends to be a little more refinement around performance
Okay.
and that sort of thing. We usually do 1 or 2 dress rehearsals before any production to help the kids iron things out.
Okay.
And that's often their first time in the theater, which is always an experience. The first time a cast goes into a theater is always a very energetic period. You have to give them that time to acclimate when they go into the theater and just
Get used to the
enjoy the
space.
space,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
see it all. And
And then adapt all the blocking that they've learned on the rehearsal stage, which is different.
it's very different. And then working with lighting and sound and all that kind of,
Yeah.
and doing all their costume changes and how quickly does this need to be done, or do I have time? Some of our productions work with microphones, wireless microphones. So
Okay.
usually that's the musicals and the outdoor production will do that. And that's been a learning curve for some of the kids too, because
Okay.
it's a little different. It changes your performance.
So how does that work for the kids? This is an hour or two after school 5 days a week?
Oh, no. So the musical, for example, rehearses 3 hours on a weekday and then 3 hours on a weekend.
Okay.
So usually be like a 6 to 9 on an evening and then like a Sunday afternoon.
And these are the older kids?
And these are kids that are 11 to 17.
Yeah.
The younger kids usually do our past production that just went on stage. They would do 2 hours on a weekend, usually closer in the morning, and then they had 1 hour during the week that was focused primarily on vocals for them. They'd come in and they'd sing.
Okay.
So it's less intense. The show is shorter. We don't want to overwhelm or wear out our younger performers.
Right.
They also do fewer performances than, say, our older kids. Our musicals will do 8 shows on their show week. They do 2 shows a day for 4 days.
Okay, I was thinking you'd do maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You know, a
No,
matinee and an
that's
evening
great.
performance, and you're
No,
done.
they do 8 shows, and they're fantastic at it. By the end, they do crash a little bit. We talked about post-show blues because it's an intense
Yeah,
process,
yes.
but they are energetic and amazing. And we have the 2 cast system, so if you're a lead, say on the morning show, then it flips, and in the evening it'll be somebody else, so that you can, it's a
Bit of
little
a
less
break,
intense.
Right.
And those 3 morning shows that we do during the week are usually school shows, so we have local schools come and see our performers and
Oh,
whatnot.
I was actually going to ask, like,
Yeah.
in terms of audience, who typically makes up the audiences for your show runs?
Yeah, we have a variety, a lot of family and friends, obviously, but we have school shows, and we do have people in the community that come. I would highly recommend our productions to anyone who wants to introduce their kids to theater, especially younger kids, because it is less intense, but it's also an opportunity for them to see people that are similar to them in age. And our shows are more intimate too, so they can see the performers up close. We have Q&As, or sometimes the performers will come out on stage or in the audience afterwards, and they can
Oh.
chat. We're very informal that way, and we want people to engage and to ask questions and talk about it. One example, not this past December, but the one before, we did The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, wow.
And my youngest child was in one of the shows, The Wicked Witch. And sometimes during the school shows, there was one or 2 of them, and the kids would go, "Oh, she's really scary." And my kid would come out afterwards and like take off the hat and the one and be like, "It's okay, I'm just a kid," and talk with them a little bit and things like that. And various performers do that. We did an older kid production of Frozen, and they would come out. There would be kids that would dress up and come to some of the shows. They'd come out and they'd say hi to the kids and take pictures and things
that's
like that.
fun.
So our kids are really great. They're great with working with audiences and chatting with people. Our Frozen kids, who were 5 to 10, had a preschool come and see them. And they came around, they stuck around afterwards, they answered questions and gave them high fives and everything. And it's just a great experience, I think, for everyone involved in those sorts of
It
situations.
sounds so empowering.
Yeah, and I think it really helps the kids to go, yeah, these other people see you and they value your work and they enjoy what you're doing. And as much as the kids themselves enjoy the whole process, it is empowering to see the effect that they can have on an audience too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to play a bit more music. Something by Alison Brown called Model Railroad Town. And then we'll come back and talk about upcoming events, including the radio theater happening
Yeah.
this coming Friday. This is Alison Brown.
Don't you wanna live in a model railroad town, waving at the train as it circles around? Time has stopped on the hands of the station clock, and the only thing that's moving is the train. The only thing that's moving is the train. Somebody brought it home from the church rummage sale, took it down the basement, connected all the rails, painted white clouds on a bright blue sky, and the sun shines like a 60-watt light. The sun shines like a 60-watt light. From the old stone church to the library, from the lumber yard to the candy store, the world is as big as a ping pong table, and the train only ever takes me back to my own front door.
Alison Brown, Model Railroad Town from her Stitches and Incisions album. Got Breanna MacLeod in the studio from ActOUT KW. And Suzanne Craig-Whytock from Reader's Delight,
Hi there.
co-host today.
Just hanging out, watching the master at work.
Hardly. ActOUT has been around for how long?
30 years.
30 years, you said.
Yeah, 30 years since 1995. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long stretch.
Yeah.
Have you been with it all the time?
Oh, no. I've been involved probably for about 10 years. Yeah, I was
Okay.
on the board for a while, and then I stepped down and I've stepped into this role. But we've had a number of great people over the years working on our programs and keeping us going. And yeah, it's COVID was really difficult.
Yeah.
It was a close shave, and I think for a lot of arts organizations, COVID was really difficult.
Yeah.
And we came through, and we've we've gotten some support here and there from like the City of Waterloo and the City of Kitchener and other organizations that we've reached out to and applied for grant programs and whatnot that have helped us continue on. But I would say our primary supporters are always our participants and the people who come and see our shows and just come and buy a ticket and come enjoy the performance, and all of that goes right back into keeping us going.
Yeah. And what is going? Tell me what you've got online. You've
Well,
told me a little bit already.
Yeah, the radio show this Friday, which is the Canterbury Ghost. And then, again, we'll have High School Musical Junior in Cambridge in the end of the last week of May, the 21st to the 24th. And then in Waterloo Park, we have our Alice at Wonderland, which will be the 28th to the 31st. So we've got 2 show weeks back to back. It will be very busy. And then we'll have our summer camp programs. So our drama camp, which will run, I believe, for 7 weeks. And I think our KWLT camp runs for 6 weeks. And we'll be doing 1-act plays at KWLT. We do 1 week that's improv, too.
Improv.
Which kids
Fun,
really enjoy.
yes.
And improv is really important. Like, the kids learn a lot. Like, the number of times I've seen kids improvise on stage when something has gone wrong, it's great to see them do it. It's really a lot of fun. So improv is always a fun program as well. And then we are working on what our next season will be. Our year runs from September to August, much like the school year. And so we'll be announcing productions probably sometime in June.
Okay. Who makes that decision?
We do it at the board level. It's kind of collaborative.
Okay. So it's very much
Again,
a working board then.
Yeah, oh, very much so. And we have a lot of people on our board that put in a lot of hours and a lot of work, and we wouldn't be around without them contributing that. We have a lot of parents and other volunteers that help out backstage on shows with costumes and set and props and various other things that, again, are really the backbone of making a lot of it work. And so our volunteers are fantastic. I love you all. If you want to volunteer, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to have you.
So reaching out
yeah.
how? What's the best way to reach out to you?
Well, it depends on what you're interested in. If you want to volunteer, we do have just volunteer@actoutkw.com as an email address. You can reach out. We're looking for everything from, we're happy to have high school students come and volunteer.
Okay. Counts towards their 40 hours of...
It does, yeah.
great.
We usually
Okay.
have them apply, and then we talk to them about sort of what they're interested in and what their background is. So that's an option for them to come and talk to us to see, if we have anything that would fit, depending on their age. We have a lot of family and whatnot come and volunteer. And if there are other people in the community that would like to become involved, we're definitely open to that. Because we are a children's group, if people do come into volunteer roles where they're directly interacting with the kids, we do vulnerable sector checks.
Okay.
Because it's important to us, again, safety-wise, to keep our kids safe.
Right.
But we're always happy to hear from people, and yeah, we've got lots going on. So whether or not you want to come and just, you're like, I'd be really interested in, working on costuming or something. I do cosplay, and that sounds like fun. It's like, oh, come talk to us.
Yeah.
Absolutely, those skills apply, right? So lots of different things like that.
What about as a participant? I've got kids. How do I get them signed up?
have all of our programs usually listed online on our website.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely encourage people to go and look on our website and look at the different programs and the different age groups and the time requirements. Some kids are not going to be interested or ready for higher commitment programs because it can be really overwhelming with them. So sometimes what we do is encourage them to try class first or a summer camp. It's a lower commitment, a little bit lower pressure than a full stage show, and kids can get a taste of it. I have lots of people who email me and say, oh, my kid is struggling with X or looking for Y. And then we can talk about, okay, well, what do you think they need and what program would best suit them? And we're more than happy, I'm always more than happy to answer those questions and whatnot. I've had parents reach out to me about their kid has anxiety or they want to try something, but they don't want to overwhelm them. Or if their kid is on the spectrum and has sensory issues, well, will it work for them to come and do a play? And sometimes in those instances, we're like, well, absolutely, you know, we do have programs that will work, but don't jump into doing, say, a musical.
Right.
Because those are really loud and overwhelming,
Yeah,
and you sort of have
intense,
to ease into that if you have sensory issues. Yeah.
Right. What's your capacity? How many kids can you take on?
Oh, well, our musicals usually are between 30 to 35 kids, and we do at least 3. We do 2 junior musicals and a mini kids musical a year.
Okay.
And then we do a number of different classes, and those classes could be anywhere from like 5 to 16 kids, depending. And we usually, with this past year, we've been offering fall, winter, and spring sessions. It's 8 weeks, an 8-week class.
Okay.
Again, not a huge time commitment, but enough that they get a chance to try some different things and do a little performance at the end. Plays can be anywhere from 10 to 20 kids usually, depending on the play selection. And camps, our KWLT camps max out at 20.
Okay.
And again, it all depends on enrollment.
Yeah. Where does that take place, the summer camps?
The Page to Stage camp, where they do one act play or our 1 week improv, those are at KW Little Theatre. The
Okay.
entire program is in that theatre. It's a small space. It's really good for keeping track of the kids. You cannot possibly lose them. It's not big enough. And so we do that program there. And then we're also doing our younger kid program, which is ages 5 to 10. That summer camp will be at our current rehearsal location. We lease a good chunk of the building at Scout House, which is a building on Frederick, owned by Scouts Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And as another youth organization supporting youth, they've been really great to work with. So we have a home there now. We have an office. Our costumes and props and set are all
Okay.
there. So it's a really great resource to have.
Yeah. Is that a rehearsal space too?
Yeah. Yep, our rehearsal space is there too. There's a large hall that we use, and then there's
Okay.
several breakout rooms that are really useful, especially for our large cast programs, because then they can break out and work on different things and whatnot.
Okay. Anything like workshops? It used to be little theater workshops where you just spent one night learning one particular skill.
Yes, we have run workshops in the past. Since sort of coming back online, so to speak, from COVID, we haven't gotten back to workshops yet, but that's something that's definitely on our radar. There's a lot of different smaller aspects of theater or things that we think kids would like to try out that we haven't had the opportunity to do yet. So sometimes it's a balance of, how many hands do we have? How much can we do?
Right.
How much, space do we have and time? All of our programs right now are being held at our Scout House location for rehearsals and classes and whatnot, but we have in the past used space through Waterloo Region District School Board. We've had a relationship with them and done programs there as well. So that's always an option as well. And we have relationships with the City of Waterloo and the City of Kitchener as affiliates with them. So with Waterloo in particular, that's how we have our space in the park, and we do that program and
Right.
whatnot. So those are relationships we hope will continue and grow.
You ever do a traveling show?
Yeah.
Take a show on the road?
We haven't, but it's definitely something we would consider.
Okay.
Especially something like our outdoor program.
Yeah, that'll
That
travel
helps
well.
us in doing our outdoor program. learned a lot about creating shows, but creating shows that are more encapsulated and minimalist. They don't have a huge amount of set because we can't leave a huge amount of set up outside. Everything has to be packed in and struck and put away in like a trailer after every performance.
Right.
So it has to be minimalized. And so building those kind of performances do lean more towards providing us the opportunity that, yeah, maybe we could take them different places. Maybe we could perform at, if a community center has a large outdoor
I was
space.
thinking senior centers too, retirement living centers, things like that.
Yeah, so there's lots of opportunities in the community for things like that are on our radar but haven't become something we have sort of the bandwidth for yet. But it's certainly something we're open to and we'd love to talk to other groups about. Yeah.
Okay. One more time with the contact information.
Oh, yes. Well, ActOUT KW, our website is actoutkw.com. We have a lot of our contacts on there. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Twitter, X, Blue Sky. We have an account on YouTube where we do post some what we can of some of our programs.
Get all those links on our show notes webpage at radiowaterloo.ca/ccc. And catch up there as well.
Yeah, and we'll post some information and links to, we have a webpage we're setting up for our radio program, our live on air, the Canterbury Ghosts, so we'll link that on Radio Waterloo as well.
And that's this Friday.
This Friday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Will be the live air, and then I believe we're re-airing it.
I think Saturday, May the 3rd.
May 3rd in the morning.
10 a.m. Yeah.
So, yeah, the kids are really looking forward to that. I think it'll be a blast. It'll be something new, and then we'll see going forward if we can take what we've learned from doing it this time and continue to create that kind of opportunity for our kids. Yeah.
Hope you come back and do more radio theater with us.
Yeah, I've enjoyed being here. I've enjoyed learning about the radio station and how you guys produce everything and whatnot. It's a great community resource that I think more people should know about. And thank you so much for all your help.
You're very welcome.
It was wonderful to meet you.
Thank you. You too.
You've been listening to CKMS Community Connections on CKMS FM Radio Waterloo. My name is Bob Jonkman. Co-host today has been Suzanne Craig-Whytock. In the studio has been Breanna MacLeod, from the general manager of ActOUT KW, children's theater camps, not workshops yet, but maybe to come. CKMS Community Connections airs every Monday at 11 o'clock, alternate Fridays at 3. Executive producer is Jennifer Strong. Theme music at the beginning was by Stephen Todd. See you next week.